What up? What up? So today I made $18,900 in 1 hour trading three TopStep XFA accounts. So the first trade that I took was on the lower time frame. Today was pretty tough as far as price action on lower time frame. That one was a loser, and then I moved up to the higher time frame, and that one was an absolute banger, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you pretty much my thesis, right? Like my entry criteria, my exit criteria, what I was thinking, the setup, step by step, the whole nine. But if you are a struggling trader looking for consistency in the markets, go to strongtrading.com. I do offer one-on-one affordable coaching for day traders. Okay. So go to strongtrading.com, fill out an application, and we'll reach out to you and we'll book a Zoom call with you. Okay. All right. So hopping onto the charts. So I traded M&Q today. I always start out on the 1 minute time frame for precise entries and tight stops, then move to the higher time frame for more generous profit targets. Okay. So as you can see, this price action for the first hour is horrific, right? Like it's all choppy. You see all these wicks, right? Like no solid direction, honestly. And this is where I lost my first trade for the most part. So let me break down my first trade. So here's my thesis on the first trade. As you can see, even though it was choppy and horrible price action, we were trending up. So of course, I'm a reactive trader. I don't try to predict the markets. I react to what it's showing me. So even though this was really ugly, I still looked at it as an uptrend. So I have an upside bias at the moment. So we pull back, right? And I'm looking for a continuation. We pull back and then we make a pivot point right here and then a pivot point right there. We have this horrible doji in the middle, right? Causing a lot of confusion. But I went ahead and took the trade anyway because it's all probabilities. As long as you manage your risk, you can always give it a shot as long as your criteria is met. So as you can see, we got a clear uptrend right here, right? And we began to move down. Okay. So we began to move down. We formed a very nice pivot right here, right? And I'm looking for pretty much like an internal double bottom, okay, before I enter my trades. So as you can see, we got one pivot point right here, and then we have another one right there. This huge doji kind of fucked me up a little bit, but I still wanted to take a chance on it because the setup was still there to a degree. Okay. So this is my setup, right? We get a strong push up, came back down, made a nice little pivot. We're looking for a double bottom, an internal double bottom. We came back up, came right back down, and this is pretty much perfect. So now I'm looking at the neckline of this double bottom, which is about right here. So the break of this neckline, I'm going to enter, and we're going to go long for a 2-to-1. Okay. So as you can see, we broke out right here. So I entered on this candle on the close, right? Always make sure you wait until the candle closes. Get my long position. Okay, so we're going to start right here at the neckline, and we're going to go for a simple 1 to 2R. Okay, so for every $100 that I'm risking, I want to make $200. So as you can see, 1 to 2 is all the way up here. The profit target is all the way up here. We're going to make this green, and then the stop loss is at the lowest point of the two pivot points that made the double bottom, the internal double bottom, which is about right here. And then I'm gonna make that red. All right, so as you can see, I got stopped out right here. Okay, so this doji kind of threw me off, of course, right? But all of this is pretty mid, man. I probably should have just waited a little bit longer for clearer price action. But what I did remember is that whenever you are on the lower time frame and things are choppy and ugly and price action is just horrendous, what I normally do is go to the higher time frame. So when the lower time frame displays choppiness, low volatility, go to the higher time frame. And if there's high volatility, then you want to go to the lower time frame because most likely price action is a little bit more solid and easier to read. So I got stopped out of that trade. So then I moved on to the higher time frame to see clear price action. So I moved from the 1 minute time frame to the 5 minute time frame, and it is still kind of ugly. Like the price action is still pretty bad. So I did see a A+ setup that I normally take on a smaller time frame, but on the 5 minute time frame, which is normally the morning reversal, right? So what I look for is an immediate double top, and then I short the market going to the downside. So Here's one top right here. And then here's another top right here. And then we find the neckline of this double top, which is right here. And then we enter on the break, which is right here. And then we go for a 1 to 2R. So I'm going to grab my short position and then boom, that's going to be the entry. The stop loss is going to be on the highest pivot point. And then we're going to go for a 2R. And boom, 2R right there. So as you can see, we never actually hit the profit target right here. But the good thing is I actually began scaling out after we exceeded this pivot point. We exceeded this pivot point right here. So I entered right there, came down, we pulled back. And then once we exceeded this pivot point, I started scaling out. We pulled back one more time. I actually entered and headed to my position. And as we started coming down, I saw this doji. And you got to understand, I entered this trade all the way up here, right? And this is a high probability trade, but today's price action was trash. So I'm a little bit more lenient on scaling out. I normally don't, but that's what I decided to do. And plus, this was a bigger risk than normal. So I didn't want to jeopardize myself. So I went ahead, scaled out after each pivot point right there. And then I would have did it right here, but that's pretty much that's a short drop. So I wanted to give it a little bit more room and a little bit more space. And then we got a doji right there, and I just didn't want to play around with it. In my mind, I'm like, okay, we're only a couple cents or a couple ticks away from the profit target. And I'm not going to allow a couple of ticks to stop me from having a green day. So I went ahead and cut the trade, and it immediately reversed. Later on in the day, it did hit my profit target. But I also like to consider time into my trades as well. Like cutting this trade right here versus waiting another from 12:20 all the way to 3:35. So 3.5 hours. Man, that's tough. That's not worth it. I might as well go ahead and leave a little bit of money on the table, get out of the trade while I still have the mental capital instead of waiting an additional 3.5 hours. It might make an emotional decision because of all that time between this exit and that one for only a couple of cents. Okay. So yeah, that was a trade. That trade right there yielded me a net total of $6,300 across 3 accounts, which gave my total $18,900. And yeah, that's the trade. So if you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and once again, I do offer one-on-one affordable coaching at strongtrading.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.